What happened after the war is that the stories of the children were really repressed. And not necessarily only by them, but also by society at large. The children were seen as survivors of the war, and that's it. They weren't seen as having suffered anything. Just over half of the children in Belgium were deported, and half were saved. About 5,000 were saved. Some were saved by networks of priests, especially in the south of the country.
One of the strongest memories I have of my childhood was when I arrived here at 4 years old. A couple of months later, I'm walking with my mother, and we're in South Orange, and we're by Seton Hall, and all of a sudden these 3 nuns are coming at me. I let go of my mother's hand, and I run to the nuns, and I hold on to their legs, and they're patting me on my head. Of course, they don't know what happened, and my mother's yelling, "Paulette, come back, come back." And then she comes and she explains to them how wonderful they were to me.
That is one way in which children were hid. People got in touch with the resistance, and the resistance came, the escorts came, took the children from the parents and brought them to designated places. Escorts were all women. It would have been hard to trust men in that. The other way in which children were hidden was if parents approached the convent or the parish priest individually. The adaptation differed, but depending also on the convent, on how tolerant the convent was. For instance, in the question of conversion, there were convents that wanted to baptize at all costs, and convents that didn't force the children. Some children who really found consolation in the Catholic religion. For instance, they replaced their mother by the Virgin Mary, and they prayed to the Virgin Mary for their parents. I think there are 2 main motivations. One is the possibility of converting lost souls to Catholicism. The second one is really humanitarian, and today it is impossible to disentangle the 2 motivations. The children were in the convent under the impression that their parents were coming back. In one convent, for instance, the Mother Superior did not tell many sisters that they were Jewish children. She would tell them that they were Protestant children, for instance, and they could not go to confession and to communion. And in other convents, all the nuns knew. So these are all individual stories. That was the big thing, that everything, the deportations were done under the guise of deportations for labor in the East. That made it, seem not so. They knew it was going to be terrible, but at least you could, by working, you could save yourself. Nobody talked about extermination. It was amazing how the Germans succeeded, in effect, in hiding the question of extermination.
My name's Paulette Wren Dorflafer, but first it was Corsia, and then it became Paulette Wren Wolf. And my family was from Spain, and then they went to Oran, Algeria, and then from there they went to Marseille, France. When I came to this country, my parents told me I'm Jewish, I'm from France, and I didn't have any more family. Then when I turned 21, my father said, we have to go to the French embassy. In 1971, we'll call the French embassy. I couldn't believe it. I go, what? I have family after 26 years. I couldn't believe it. A brother and 2 sisters. In 1972. I went to France in February, and I arrived February 9th, the day I arrived to America. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to recognize them or not. It was very meaningful meeting the family.